Welcome back. It's me, Kev, with Tarot with a Twist or wordofthetwist.com. So anyway, we're going to do a little another tutorial tonight. And what it was, I'm kind of scanning like the different news groups out there, like Reddit and whatnot, kind of see what kind of questions were being asked. And so I want to show you how I read the cards based on a question, right? And that also will help you when you do your own readings. And so the question that I saw was, what is ruining my relationship and how do I stop it? And that seemed to be a pretty common question, So we're going to do Marseille and Rider Waite. We're just going to mix it up and just do them both and see how it turns out. Okay. I'm going to do 3 cards, no more than that, and just see how it pans out. Okay. So I always want to go after the core energy. So with Marseille, if I'm doing a Marseille, not Rider Waite, it's always the core energy. Okay. I want to see what the tension is. So what's quietly ruining my relationship and how can I stop it? Well, the core energy is all around the mind. The mind is just overloaded right now. And you see here with the actual card, this is the Nine of Swords. And as you can see it right there, right? It's defeated. When the sword's pointed down, it means it's not even ready to engage. It can't really, attack. It just is given up. It's just over inundated. It's just stressed. And so the problem with the relationship, the core tension in this question is it just had too much. It doesn't know what to do. And also look too really close at the card. You see right here in the card how the sword is just really tied up, right? It can't unbind itself. It's just trapped. But if they would just step back a little bit and kind of like just pull it out a little bit, what would happen? The sword would come free. And that option to fix it would then come very clear because the 9 is all around attaining something. So what are you attaining? You want to attain clarity, but you can't because your mind is just so focused on the negative. It's just so focused on not knowing how to move forward. It's like it's just a lot of anxiety going on. And you see, now a lot of people don't read Marseille with color. I do. Okay. And in this particular deck, and again, it's going to change on the deck that I pick. So because a lot of blue, it's also showing the mind is also being messed up with emotions. And you see the bands here. The red is their desire. So the person they really care a lot about, they are frustrated. And the blue is not as much because the red's taken over. The desire they have for the person and the little bit of frustration, anger starting to come through, and they don't feel alive. The yellow is very thin, but the black is the subconscious. So their mind's being fed with a lot of negativity as well, and they're just really holding that sword captive. Okay, that's how I'm reading the tension. It's not the reading; it's the tension of the read, the intention of the read. So then I pull over the other card. Now we look at it across the line, and so when you feel this tension, what's the problem? Well, it's the relationship. You see here is a 10 of cups. They want to move to the next cycle, but they can't because everything's spilling out. They have to learn that if they want to come together, they have to let go of what? Of the tension that's been growing emotionally. Remember here in the sword card, we had a lot of blue too. So you can see how now the blue is playing in with the cups. And the 10 is at the pinnacle. So it's a lot of high tension emotionally. And that's just really kind of screwing them, is ruining them. And most likely because Pentacles is around what? Pentacles is around finances. And so what we're seeing here is that it's money of some type. And they just feel like, again, they can't get over the hump to get to the next level. And so how do they stop it? Is stop worrying about it, right? Just roll with it. Let it come as it may. Everything is going to work out, it always does. And it's a cycle. So unless they break that 10 and go back to a 1 and rethink where they came from, they're never going to break free of the struggle in their mind. They're always going to be worrying about money, and then their emotions are going to get overloaded. It's going to be a continual explosion. And that's what's ruining the relationship when I look at it through the lens of Marseille. Now, we're also going to do numerology because that's what I also do. I'll look at this and I'll say, well, before I go further, you see how right now we're about 4 minutes in roughly. You don't need a lot of time to read for somebody. And that's one thing too that kills me is that you see a lot of people book these different readings and they're like, this one's $40, this one's $20, this one's, $200. That's not how spiritual work works. It's you can hit on something within 3 to 5 minutes and be accurate with the energy that's being presented. Sometimes they take you a half hour, an hour. Maybe you're going to pull the card. So when I see people charging like by the minute, it's like you're not a painter. You're not working on a car. This is deep spiritual work. And so it's like it is what it is. It's kind of like a retainer fee for an attorney in a sense, where like you're paying them because they're going to give you that connection, that energy that they're reading on, and it's a flat fee. It could take 5 minutes. It could take an hour. It just depends on the complexity of the question or the energy that you're channeling at that present time. Okay. So keep that in mind. 'Cause with AI now, it's driving me nuts because you're seeing people doing readings for like $5. I mean, full blown top of kilt crosses. You can't do it. It's impossible. AI does it, but it has no meaning. There's no human spirit involved. There's no human connection. There's no energy being picked up on because it's just a computer, right? Anyway, I know I went on a segue there, but it just kind of popped in my head as I was looking at these cards. So again, we're going back to the numerology. We have a 10, and 10 is a 20, with a 9 is a 29. And so that reduces down to what? To an 11. Now the 11 uses the energy of the 2 and the energy of the 9. And that's telling you that you have to start making decisions, good decisions. Do I want to blow up over money, or do I want to really balance myself out with this person, not let it get to my head? And the 9 is, if I can make the good decisions and stop worrying about things that I have attainment, I can now get to the 10 so I can break the cycle and go back to a 1 and finding new ways to work with this person, new ways to have different beginnings with this person, new ways to love them or comfort them or whatever, right? But then the 11 goes back to what? Master number is that you got to use your intuition as well a little bit. You got to stop relying on your emotions and use your intuition, right? Trust your gut. And you'll know how to actually stop doing what you're doing or what they're doing that keeps causing all these problems. Another thing you can do too, if I was reading, is I'd pull the dice right here, right? I'd roll them to see what kind of energy I get with the dice. And that's crazy. That's an 8. And you see how the universe is always pulling the energy that kind of goes with the reading, because somewhere out there in the internet world, this question, somebody asked it. It was on Reddit, and so I don't know who it was. It was just like a trending kind of a question. And when you look at it, that means that to the 2s there, they got to start making better decisions. So how do you stop ruining your relationship? Make better decisions so you can bring 6, peace and harmony, into it. Bring some balance back into your life, right? And that gives you an 8. And if you can do that, then what happens, that's the engine that will help you move forward. It will help you move through the turmoil. It will help you move through all the problems, because you're going to stop getting caught in your head. You're going to stop using your emotions. You're going to stop worrying about money and really just unite as one person and work together. That's how you break the toxic cycle. Okay, so then now we're going to go to Rider-Waite just to kind of see how it looks. I don't usually read with the Marseille and Rider-Waite together, but for this tutorial, we're going to do it just to see what type of energy that we're going to pick up on here. So I'm kind of curious to see what it shows, right? Okay, so we're going to do 3 cards again, and the theme of the problem that they're facing is what's ruining it, and the advice how to stop is here. What's ruining it is see right there, it's a 2 of swords upside down. So it's like they know they have to make a decision. And you see how that's a 2? Can you see that? The 2 right there at the top? And what did the dice pull? Before I even touched this deck, it was a 2. We have 2, so it's all around decisions, right? They have to start making the decision. They can't sit there and just block themselves. They have to open their mind and go, yep, I'm going to do this. I'm moving forward. That's what I have to do. That's what you got to do. So that is what is ruining them, is just being indecisive. They got to make a decision. That's the theme of it. There's no more second guessing yourself. It's time to move forward and move on. Now, what's blocking them is the 9, another reverse card. So it's like they have to stop always feeling like they have to fight, right? They have to stop feeling like, well, the fight isn't over, so I have to still be there, because they're beat up pretty good. You see that in the card right there? And so that's the thing, is like, you got to let the ego go. You got to stop thinking that maybe you always got to be right. And again, what number is that on that card? It's a 9. It's a 9. So you have passion now sit with a 9, which means that you want to get over to the next level, but you have to stop. That's the challenge position. You have to stop thinking that you always have to defend yourself. This goes back into arguing with people, right? It's called jading, where you have to justify, you have to argue, you have to defend, you have to explain. And you don't have to do that, because when you do that, then you can't make decisions, and you're always sitting there trying to, get ready for the next battle. You don't need to do that. That's what ruins relationships a lot of times, is you're always trying to defend. You're always trying to argue, justify, explain. You don't need to do that. You just got to say, nope, we're moving forward. That's it. Come on along for the ride, or don't. And what's interesting too, right now we're at an 11, 9 and 2. See how it's working out? Different systems, same numbers are rolling, okay? And then the advice is the King of Cups. Let your guard down and just be love, right? Show love. Everything that you do it from a heart of love, not from a heart of anger or a heart of thinking you're going to get something back, because you ain't getting nothing if you really care about somebody. It's not about what you can get. Like I told somebody the other day, is that you don't want to be needed. What you want in a relationship is to be wanted, right? Because I need a job, but the job don't need me, right? And so it's a need thing, right? You don't want to make somebody feel like they're a slave. Like, I need you to do this. I need you to blah, blah, blah. Instead, it's more like, I want this person in my life. I want to go to that job. I want to have this thing here, because when you want something, it means it's special. It means it's important to you. When you need something like that, it's like, well, yeah, I need them. Why? Is it clingy? Do you have mommy issues? What is it? You have daddy issues? What's really going on? So instead, be the king. Be mature in your emotions. Be on the mark, be on task, be on point, and stop playing games, because the king here isn't reversed. He's upside right. If he's reversed, he's an emotional manipulator. That's not what we're looking at. And also, what we're seeing here is the king's looking away. It's very important, too, when you read cards, right, is the position of the body and the way they're looking. So you see how the middle card here, it's like he's ignoring the fact that he's got to make a decision, and that's the problem. So rather than facing it, he's looking away from it. Okay. And also, where's he looking at? He's looking at the king's feet. So he can't even look at him in the face. And the king's saying, I'm done with you. I'm done playing games. I don't want to. So the advice is, don't play the games. There is no more fight. It's time just to move forward and get on with it. And that's why the king's looking to the right. And that's going to active, because he's ready to make a change. And that's the advice, right? Be emotionally mature and stop playing the games and make a decision. And so even with both systems, you kind of got the same vibe going on. So even though the question was read from two different sets of cards, the universe still gives it the exact same message, because the energy is the same. It doesn't change. So does it matter what system you use? No. But what I feel from looking at this here is that this reads more like Lenormand on the Marseille. So it's very direct. You can get more into the yes or no type of stuff, but I would still go with the open-ended, like what, why, who, how, something like that. Now, here you have an 11, 9, 10, 11, and I always rate the king as a 4. 11 and a 4 is a 15. So that's interesting, because what's telling you is that you have a chance to take a new beginning with this person, but you're so caught up in strife and contention that you won't allow yourself to be free. If you can make the decision, stop always worrying about having to fight and win the next battle, and be emotionally mature, then you have a 6. Right? So 11 and a 4 is a 15, a 5 and a 1 is a 6. That means you can have harmony and balance now back into your life. All right? That's how you read the two systems. Now, let's just do it. Why not? Let's say you said, I want a little more clarity, because I also will use Lenormand in a reading as well. So we're going to pull a couple cards here. We're going to overlay and see how it looks, just to see what the energy is. Okay, so center card, just like the Marseille, is what? Okay, so the issue again is around toxic behavior, right? And so that's a 7. 7 that's not balanced is a 7 that's in secret. You're not really assessing things, you're acting like you are. It's more like you're not assessing out of goodwill, you're assessing out of bad faith. You're trying to find out where you can attack, strike, and bite. And that's a problem. See? Different system again, same energy. What I'm showing you here is that tarot, Lenormand, whatever you use, it's from the universe giving you the direct energy. It's not make-believe. These cards are not random by any means of the imagination. They're exact. So when people ask me, do you predict? No, but I read energy, right? So based on what I'm seeing right now in the cards, that's energy I'm vibing on. Now, here's the clouds. It's saying that, now with Marseille, with Lenormand, you're going to read in pairs and twos, okay? It's kind of important. And so you're seeing the clouds and you're seeing the snakes. So there's a lot of confusion over the toxicity that you're dealing with. Okay. And the toxicity is also hurting you guys coming closer together. But if you can overcome that, then you have the sun. So what's nice about this, you see how the clouds are lighter here. Truth is starting to appear. Gray is the cloud on this side of the card, which is more gloom and doom type of vibe, right? But it's open. When you mirror the cards, the toxicity is open up, and the truth is open up into happiness, because the sun's going to kill off the toxic energy. It's going to destroy it. So even here, as you can see, it's the exact same vibe as we had with the other two systems. And if we want to read the actual energy in numerology here, well, what do you have? A 6 and a 7 is a 13, right? A 3 and a 1 is a 4. And then a 3 and a 1 is a 4. So 4 and 4 is 8. So what you're seeing here is that if you can overcome the toxic behavior, the toxic nature, and the toxic nature is around growth and expansion with the sun, you'll then have the energy to move forward and get through any challenge that comes your way. But if you can't get over it, you always got to keep biting at the heels of somebody, and you want to keep biting at the person you're supposed to care about, well, then guess what? The problem isn't going to stop, and it'll keep continuing on for a very long time, or you're going to end up breaking up. That's just the reality of it. That's how it works. Now, let's roll some dice again to see what it says again after we read this whole thing. Just so we don't get confused, I'm going to grab some white dice here, right here, some white ones, and just kind of see what it says. 5. Now, remember I mentioned 5 too. You see how, like, whenever you roll, the numbers always come back together. You have a 1 and a 4. This was a 4. 4 and 4 is 8, right? Reduced back down. You have a 4 and a 1. So it means that if you want to have stability in your relationship, you got to start making better choices to bring about better opportunities together. And then you can have a 5, which is going to free you from all the contention. It's going to free you from all the turmoil that you're facing. So should we pull an oracle card too? No, because I have no decks around me, so I can't. Usually too, what I like to do at the end of a reading is, if it kind of ends a little bit sour like this does, like, well, if you don't do this, this could happen, but still positive, but it's the truth. One thing too, I'm going to tell you, when you're doing a reading for somebody, shoot straight. Doesn't matter. Don't be a jerk. Don't be, disrespectful, but also don't sugarcoat things. Do not do the love and light thing, because that's not real, right? People need to hear what's going on. They ask you, what is quietly ruining my relationships and how do I stop it? You got to tell them, stop being toxic. Be emotionally mature. Stop worrying about money. The cups, the emotions here, stop allowing everything to fall out all the time, right? Stop overreacting to it. Let the mind relax and go at ease. Stop always overthinking everything. If you can do that, guess what? Things turn out really well for you. So anyway, that's all I got. And if you like a reading for yourself, head over to wordswithatwist.com and book a reading. And I have something called the first look. I think it's I have said a $10 minimum, or pay what you can. And then if you like the way I read, if you enjoyed that, then you can book a full session if you want. Or if you become a member of my site, I offer 25% off all my full readings. And also the memberships include a lot of tutorials on the site. It includes a lot of PDFs that you can download for yourself. It has a lot of resources. If you're trying to learn what the major arcana is, I go into great detail there, but it's for members only. Anyway, that's all I got. And if there's anything you would like to learn on my channel or want me to cover, drop in the comments and let me know. I'm more than happy to do it. And if there's, say, a certain topic around, I don't know, geopolitical stuff or culture, let me know. If I think it's good, I'll go ahead and read it. Anyway, that's all I got for now. Until next time, I want to see you in my next video. All right. Bye, everybody. See you later.